Okay, so once you've completed your lead-in show, in other words, you're done with lead-in stats updater, that's when you close all the programs. And then I would go as far as cleaning out the temporary folder as well. And then reboot your computer. And then open it back up. And then the first thing you're going to do is open up your stats updater. Set the icon right there. And then you're going to pick your game out of the list. If you're doing softball, you go down here to softball, and then those games will show up. But we're doing this one here, this Lakeshore Wausau. And you want to make sure these are all good. And I think if one of them's not right, or if there's a blank there, if there's a blank, it'll be purple and black checkerboard there. And then all you do is just click on it. In this case, I clicked on the field one, and then go find the correct field for your team. Okay, so you've got that. That all looks good. Now the next thing you want to do is go to your scoreboard icon over here. Click on that, and then open up the scoreboard on the website. Takes you directly there. Find your team, and you're going to see a button there for probable starters. You've already got your pitchers after doing the lead-in show. You've got the pitchers. You want to go ahead and get your probable starters. And if they're not all there, you can go talk to the team managers and get that from them. But if there's something there that looks even close, it's fine. Because once you get those loaded in, over here in Stats Updater, right here, that's for the Lakeshore and that's for the Wausau, you get these loaded in, even if they're not entirely correct. When your scorer comes in, your official scorer, he'll clean that up. In other words, he'll update his information. And then when you click Begin Game, right here, which I've already done it, but you don't do that till after you've got all this filled out. When you click that, it's going to hook up to him, and then he's going to, whatever he has will update on your computer as well. But you want to make sure something's in here, because this does take time to render. So it's very important that you don't put this off until your official scorer gets there. You do it early. Then, of course, you'll want your bottom line. Now, I've already got mine running, but this will be start bottom line, I think, right here. Instead of stop bottom line, I'll say start. And then it'll come on and start running. And then the next thing you'll want to do is make sure that you have all of your CSV files. In other words, if you go in here to your Documents folder, and then Stats Updater, go to the CSV folder. But normally what you would do is come over here and just say Export All. And what that does is it updates everything that needs to be updated in here that it has information for. You can see some of them are changing now. They're all going to change to 223. Then you'll go over to Titler. You'll open that up to the base project, and you can see if everything's in here. You go in here, we can see Lakeshore Wausau, and if there's if they had a record, it would be in here. So you have all that. You've got your lineups in here, defense and offensive lineup. I see there is no spreadsheet for these. We can put something in. It'll be from last year, but just to give you an idea, you'll want a spreadsheet on these. Anything that like the standings or leaders graphics, even the weather. The weather is a good one to hook up, because it goes and grabs the weather information from your home field. So let's go ahead and get this just to show you the Lake Subdivision standings. I'm going to click on that, General, Spreadsheet. I don't see it in the list here, so I'm going to go to New Input, select File, and we're going to go to the Document, Stats Updater, and yours will look like this. You have to go to the RES folder and then the CSV folder. And this is the Lake Subdivision Standings, and that is right here. We'll go ahead and put that in. Okay, and it's gonna try and update all that. And we'll do the same thing for the league leaders. General, Spreadsheet, New Input, league leaders. Okay, it's going to try and fill all that out. I don't know what it's going to have because, again, this is off season, so who knows what it's going to throw up there. But it does bring up a few issues in Titler, like these things. But you'll want to fix that, and it's not that hard to do. We can hop over here to the attributes, come over here, and if you have these show up for some reason, you can always go and put the blank in, and that fixes that. But this should all be filled out. Your picture is ready. Okay, so that's all good to go. Now, if this is all new information, and it's not because I've already done this, but when you initially come in here with a new team, you haven't played in a while, and you add all new CSV files, it could take up to 40 minutes for this to render. So it's important that you get this all put together early as you can, and you get this loaded up and give it time to render all these graphics for you. It takes time. So once you've done that, this is pretty much ready to go. What you'll do then is you go down here to blank. You select blank and start it. Hit the little white arrow. Go to the other channel. Go select blank and hit that and start it. That prevents a lot of problems. So once that's like that, then you just minimize this. You're done. Now, this is when you take over with Stats Updater. If you come across here to Game State, that's where you'll spend most of the time during the game. And what you want to do is go to Titler Live and connect to Titler Live. And that should load up a bunch of chiclets in here. So you notice that all the chiclets won't be lit. So you got some that are blank here. They're grayed out. And that means they haven't rendered entirely. So if we go back to Titler and look, you can see these here haven't rendered all the way yet. And so the no stats, lower third, the batter, and the picture profile, it takes a minute to render as well. And if we look at that, see where it is, right here, it's not quite done. Now, once that's loaded up, there we go. So all of them seem to be working. You can just click this little icon here, make them work. And that's how you do it throughout the game. These blanks, as you see, will always be lit. And that prevents graphics from being thrown up automatically by the system whenever you hit the space bar to change shots or whatever. That's the purpose of the blank. It's got to be there. You're just going to have graphics flying in and out. Once again, we're going to minimize this. And then if we look at Wirecast, we'll go ahead and put this static open in, and that's on one channel. This represents one channel, and this represents the other channel. So we'll go ahead and put the no stat lower third up. You don't see anything right now. Why is that? Okay, so if we look down here, as you know, graphics come in here, here, and here. Your bottom line sits in here about like this to respect the safe area. Needs to be a little bit like that. Okay, so if we look at this, if we look at the placement and how they're hooked up, this is channel 2 graphics, goes here. That's the way it works. And here it is. You can see it in the shot. And it's all running the way it's supposed to. They will always be hot. So I'm going to hit the space bar. This is going to make it all of them live because they're all selected. Bottom line, there's that. And then this one here, it's the channel 1 graphic. It's over the top of your video from the switcher. The reason we do that is because that graphic has the score bug in it. And that's whatever's in this shot down here gets recorded. So we're okay with that being on a replay. So don't change these because that's how they're supposed to be. All right, so that's how that works. Couple other things during the game when you're working in here, and this is where you're going to be spending all your time. If for some reason the official scorer has a problem, and these problems do arise, it may be so bad that you have to score manually. And so if that's the case, if he calls you or lets you know somehow that, hey, I'm stuck here, the score's not going to be right. So you can come up here if you want to, if you feel able. You hit ignore live data. Once you do that, he's not affecting your score. And then you can come in here and adjust the score yourself. But you'll have to keep track of the balls and the strikes and the outs. Somebody change when the bases change. You got to keep up with those. So you'll be busy. Hopefully he'll only be down for a minute, and then you can just pull the score bug down. And when he's back running again, you put it back up. It's good to have the score for going in and out of innings, so that if you're in a commercial break, you find out what the score is and you set it up here. So at least you have that, right? So you have the innings correct and the scores correct. These are important. So in the beginning of the game, you're going to want to have your home team set up for the starters. And let's just take a look at that real quick. Those are your defensive starters. And let's look at, for the visitor team, is the other team. So you'll switch it to that after you've done the starters for the first inning. Then when you're done with it, you just switch this here. And so the next time, after the first commercial break, after the first half inning, you come back into the field from that commercial break. You'll run this. You'll run your home lineup, which you'll run first. And then when your announcer's done talking about that, you just click that, and they switch to a wide shot of the field, and kaboom, that goes up there. If for some reason you're not getting graphics over here, they aren't showing up like they're supposed to, let's go ahead and put two of them up here. Put your pitcher LT, and let's go ahead and open up Titler. One of the main problems is can be this NDI is not turned on. That needs to be turned on, or else you're not going to get graphics in Wirecast, because that's how it gets them. So if I was going to add a layer of graphics to this, I hit this plus, and I go over here to network. These are our three NDI signals. So that's where I would look first if you don't have a graphic in here, is go in here to the network and see if there's anything listed. If it's not listed, it means it's not turned on over here. Okay? There's your bottom line right there. And there's your two channels inside of the graphics. Okay. There's other things involved here. You've got this. The GPU decoding, I would have that on. And if there's sometimes when there's an issue, you can hit this reconnect. It'll wake it up and make it work. All right. But it's pretty stable. So let's look at the other one. Look up here. And that one's turned on as well. And this is for audio right here. So if we look at the bottom line, go up here, it doesn't have that option for the audio, because it doesn't have audio. A lot of these graphics do. If you look over here in this Titler, you go to a break with this right here, that's got audio on it. And you'll hear that playing if you run this in your machine. So I did that here. I shouldn't have done that. I put that blank back on again. And open up and this is where you run that. Every time you go to a commercial break, you're going to run your do-up batters. When your announcer sees that, he's got 10 seconds to get out. You need to maintain that. Let him know that he sees that graphic come up. He's got 10 seconds. He's got to be done. No long stories about what happened. Just send it to a break. Okay. And when the music's done, that'll, you go to a commercial.